What's good, y'all? Today we're gonna do some more weird, crazy TikToks. These are more of the conspiracy theory, I guess, true crime type. But yeah, I like these. This is gonna be like 28 minutes or 30 minutes long. So yeah, if y'all like these, man, hit that like, hit that sub, man. It takes my channel a long ways, man. Let's get to it.
Craziest crimes of all time. A man by the name of Sean broke 7 different laws in an effort to be sexy. He did this by breaking into a woman's home, stealing her lingerie, and walking the streets of Sacramento wearing it. A man by the name of Rutledge Dees IV was recently arrested after pretending to have a disability so that nurses would change his dirty diapers. Apparently this was his kink, so he received therapy instead of prison. A woman was upset at her boyfriend Christopher because he let out a horrific fart. Christopher, who was slightly offended, proceeded to headbutt and choke her before she could escape and call police. A woman posing as a psychic promised her clients that she could put a special blessing on their money and double it overnight. Spoiler alert, the next day she ran off with over $100,000. A woman from Michigan has been described as feral after biting off another woman's ear. Why, you may ask? Well, she believed that she was a werewolf and the other woman was a vampire.
When 20-year-old Mary Collins disappears, her whole family immediately fears the worst.
Now, Mary had plans
that
to
dude
meet
was
up with
delusional.
her former boyfriend and high school friend, Lavi Pham. He's also meeting his new girlfriend, Kelly Lavery. You can see them all pictured in this video that he posted to Facebook. So when Mary goes missing, her family checks her social media. And what they discover is that these two, they've been bullying her online. They've left her cruel messages saying no one likes her and other really mean things. Now, by this point, the police have been notified of her disappearance, but Mia, Mary's grandmother, is convinced that she's still in Levy's apartment. The police actually do a search of his apartment and they find nothing. And so they don't really push forward with the case. So it turns out that this guy, James Solorano, was present at the time of Mary's disappearance. And he boasted to a friend exactly what the trio had done to her. I won't share all of it because it's horrifying, but they stabbed her 133 times. They put a leash around her neck and tortured her. When she eventually passed away, they covered her body in detergent and cinnamon to mask the smell. They then rolled her up in plastic and stuffed her in a mattress. James actually told his friend they were planning to incinerate that mattress as soon as they got the opportunity to do so. Now that friend was rightfully horrified. He immediately went to the police and told them what happened. They did another search of Levy's apartment and this time they ripped open the mattress. Just as they were told, there they found the body of 20-year-old Mary Collins. Her family were completely devastated. Now all 3 were arrested. Their ringleader, Kelly Lavery, took a plea deal and was sentenced to 20 to 30 years in prison. For more 7 Sin crime stories, you can hit that plus button.
I don't think people like that need a plea deal, to be honest. I don't think there should be plea deals for people like that.
Boy went missing and came back as a new child. What happened next will give you chills.
In 1912, 4-year-old Bobby Dunbar disappeared whilst on holiday with his family. His parents were completely distraught and searched for him everywhere. Eventually, the local and state police got involved, and a massive manhunt to find Bobby was launched. It would be nearly 8 months later before the police would find a young boy matching Bobby's description. This boy was found with an older man named William Cantwell. William said that this kid is not Bobby. This kid is the son of his sister. William and his sister even went to court to try and prove that. But when the Dunbar family took one look at this kid, they told the police it was definitely Bobby. Even the court sided with the Dunbar family. Now here's the truly sinister part. 100 years later, the family, wanting to put an end to all this talk, did a DNA test. Turns out that kid was not Bobby Dunbar. William Cantwell and his sister were correct. To this day, no one knows what happened to Bobby.
The darkest conspiracy theories. The Teletubbies theory. The theory says that the show is inspired by historic events that happened in a Bulgarian mental facility. Each Teletubby is inspired by a kid that was experimented on. Lala was based on a child who had a facial disfigurement and had to smile all the time. Tinky Winky was based on a deaf child who was tied to a fence outside and suffered frostbite. Dipsy was inspired by a child who was constantly sick and ended up lying in his own puke. And Poe was based on a child who fell into fire, which is recognizable why his color is red.
Court documents.
That was just stupid. Stupid.
For Idaho suspect Brian Koberger are now showing that the DNA from the knife sheath is a statistical match to him. An STR DNA comparison was performed, or short tandem repeat analysis, and Koberger's profile was 5.37 octillion times more likely to be his than someone from the general population. I didn't know octillion was a number, but it's apparently a 1 followed by 27 zeros.
That was my bad. That was my bad.
Well, whatever that meant.
I was playing the game, and I butt down the phone. Okay. That was my bad. What? No. It's only me home.
Okay, so this was just an accident. You call 911. Did you say you killed 2 people or something like that?
Rainbow Six Siege. I had my headset on.
Okay, how old are you?
17.
You're 17. Do you have a driver's license or no?
No.
Okay.
I don't have a driver's license.
Where's your parents at?
Work.
Okay.
No.
Do you want me to talk to your mom?
Yeah, you can.
You're not in any trouble, man. If it's an accident...
Hey, is this Elijah's mom?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so what happened is, I guess he's saying that he was playing a video game, and in the process of accidentally calling 911, he said that he killed 2 people, but he was talking about on the game. So we thought that there was a double murder, so we showed up to your house with a bunch of us. That's why we're here talking to your son, okay? So there's nothing to be worried about, okay?
Yeah, I got the call.
Yeah, we're just trying to, we're just doing our due diligence here, trying to figure everything out and make sure that everybody's okay, because we have to do that when we get a 911 call.
How you butt dial 911 playing a video game? My phone's right over here. I play video games all the time. Y'all know this. Man, could you imagine? I done killed 2 people.
Remember when Terrifier 2 made people pass out and throw up in theaters? Well, get ready, because Terrifier 3 was just officially confirmed, and it's going to be even bloodier. I have no idea how they're going to top the bedroom scene, but I'm excited to find out. Allegedly, the actors for Art the Clown and Sienna are both returning, so I feel like this means Terrifier 3 will be continuing the story from right after Terrifier 2. One of the producers said they'll have a bigger budget intended on giving filmmakers more creative freedom, and let them be as wild as they can be. And all jokes aside, we're going for that Oscar this year. Can you imagine if Terrifier 3 wins an Oscar? I'll be updating you guys with anything I find out, so follow for more.
I don't think any damn scary movies ever won an Oscar. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but good luck. But I ain't ever seen Terrifier 1, so I guess I'm missing out. I don't know. I mean, I like B movies, C movies, A movies. It don't matter. A movie's a movie, and it needs to be seen by somebody. So, but Terrifier, I have to look it up.
This is the sickening case of the killer house party. It was summer 2011 in Florida. Tyler Hadley had been telling his friends that his parents were out of town. On the afternoon of July the 16th, Tyler posted on his Facebook, "Party at my crib tonight, maybe." He followed this up at 8 p.m. by posting, "Party at my house, hit me up." A friend, Ashley, asked, "What if your parents come home?" "They won't," he replied, "trust me." Partygoers reported that Tyler seemed very anxious at the party, but it was hard to tell whether this was just nerves or substances. During the evening, there was reportedly 60 people at the party. People were smoking inside, smashing bottles, and just generally trashing the place. In the weeks prior to this party, Tyler had apparently made a sick comment to one of his friends. He said he wanted to kill his parents and have a big party after. He said nobody has ever done that before, kill their parents and then have a party with the body still in the house. The evening went on and eventually people started leaving. As Tyler's friend Mark Andrews was leaving the party, Tyler said he had something he wanted to say to him. He said, "Dude, I did some things. I might go to prison. I might go away for life. I don't know, dude. I'm freaking out right now." Mark told him, "Don't be telling me that sort of thing. I don't need to know." It transpired that Tyler's relationship with his parents had become strained, and at one point as a punishment they'd taken his phone off him. In a sick plot of revenge, after Tyler's parents returned home from work that day, he took their phones off them and locked the dog in the closet. Shortly before 5 p.m, Tyler reportedly took 3 pills and then stood behind his mum, Mary Jo, while she worked on the computer. Sickeningly, he then attacked her with a hammer. As his dad ran to see what was happening, Tyler then attacked his dad with a hammer too. He then dragged their bodies to the master bedroom. He then funded the party that he hosted at the house with his dead parents' credit cards. Apparently several partygoers had noticed a bad smell in the house that evening. It's reported that Tyler actually told several of his friends that evening what he had done. One of the friends decided to report this to police after the party. Tyler was sentenced to life in prison, and in 2015 the family home was demolished.
Yeah, hell no. I don't know what's wrong with people to hurt their parents like that. That's just crazy, man. I love my mom, and I would never do nothing to hurt her. And anybody that would do anything to their mom like that just deserves to be under the jail. You don't even deserve to be fed every day. You just need to be put to death immediately. Quit wasting money on these stupid-ass people.
Imagine going to Disney World only to be followed by someone the entire time and not even know it. 17-year-old Madison Gaston received a notification on her phone that an Apple AirTag was following her the entire day. If you guys don't know what an Apple AirTag is, it's basically a mini tracking device used to find your personal items in case you lose them, such as your keys. So Madison received this creepy notification, and it stated that the AirTag was detected with her at 7:09 p.m., but she only received the notification at 11:33 p.m. When Madison clicked on the notification, a map appeared outlining every single place that she went to in the last 4 hours. So basically someone knew every move she was making. By the way, Madison was with her family, and when they saw this, they all panicked and emptied their bags and belongings in the parking lot, but they were still unable to find the AirTag. There's been a number of growing cases where women have reported AirTags following them, and this usually happens in places like Disney World or where kids or teens usually go. And unfortunately, a lot of criminals and predators are using AirTags to stalk people, steal cars, and even kidnap children. And just so you guys know, there are settings on your phone that allows you to get notifications if an AirTag is detected on you, so you might want to check that.
This video...
Oh, I definitely got to check that out. I had no idea about no damn AirTag. You can just stick them anywhere you want to and just follow whoever you want, huh? People these days are creative and stupid.
Is one reason why you need to make sure you are so hyper vigilant. This woman and her son were just trying to get inside the house, and look what her Ring camera caught.
Shower really fast. I need to take a full shower. Daniel? Dad?
Hell no. You up to no good.
Who is that? Get out of here! Get out of here! Not outside, look!
She would never cheat, you never see her with a different guy. Ever tell you different, then it's a lie.
This boy killed his neighbour for TikTok fame and got away with it. When he was 16, Zachary Latham's mum passed away and he went to live with his grandparents. He'd been known to cause trouble and had several assaults on his record, and when he moved areas, this didn't change. He posted regularly on his TikTok about his love for cars, but he started to make enemies in his new area due to his reckless driving. William Durham, a 51-year-old corrections officer, was Zachary's neighbour. He lived with his wife and 2 sons next door. Due to Zachary's behaviour, tensions grew between the Durham family and the Lathams. In April 2020, Zachary got into a confrontation with William's wife, Catherine. She confronted him about his reckless driving, and Zachary filmed the exchange for TikTok. He mocked the woman, calling her a Karen, and the video got over 3 million views. Shockingly, Zachary's followers were actually encouraging his behaviour. They were egging him on to slash her tyres and cause even more trouble. The Durhams had a 21-year-old son called William Jr. When he found out about the video that had been posted online, he confronted Zachary too. However, during that exchange, Zachary threatened him with a knife. The Durhams tried to get police involved, but they just weren't interested. Shortly after this, Zachary intentionally swerved his vehicle, narrowly missing the youngest Durham son. That day, the entire family decided to confront Zachary and put a stop to his behaviour once and for all. That day, Zachary and Catherine got into an altercation in which Zachary hit her in the face and pushed her. The entire Durham family then went round to Zachary's house to confront him. Zachary armed himself with a stun gun and 2 knives. Zachary's wife recorded, presumably for TikTok, as the drama unfolded. A huge brawl erupted and Zachary stabbed William and attempted to stab one of his sons. During the struggle, Zachary took a blow to the head and was concussed. Witnesses reported seeing blood absolutely everywhere. Police attended the scene and sadly, William Durham had passed away. Shockingly, during Zachary's trial this year, he was found not guilty. His defense team stated that he'd acted in self-defense.
This is a true horror.
That's no fucking self-defense. He provoked the motherfucker till motherfuckers did something about it. I mean, fucking courts are stupid, man.
Horrifying story, part 9. This story took place in the International Indian School in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, in the year 2003. Asim, a 16-year-old Indian student in that school, born and raised in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. On a normal school day, Asim was walking back home alone from school as he lived 5 minutes away. He would walk alone almost every day. It was a hot, sunny day and the roads were empty. Asim suddenly realized that there is someone or something walking right behind him. He sees a very tall woman, about 7 feet tall, covered in black and wearing the niqab, a very common attire that women wear in Saudi Arabia. He just took a glimpse and then turned back very quickly without having any other thoughts about that woman, and she was about 150 meters away. As he walked, he asked himself, why was that woman very tall and walked boldly like a wrestler? In that split second, Asim decided to turn his head for one last quick look, and the woman was right behind him. She was able to cover 150 meters in a few seconds. This boy's heart drops. He started walking faster without looking back, as his house was only 50 feet away. He did not want to run because she would know that he's scared. He reaches outside, grabs the handle of the gate, feels safer, and immediately turns around. And no one was there. The entire area was completely deserted, like no one has ever been there before. Now that there are no connecting lanes around the building that Asim lives in, the woman had nowhere to turn. But where is she? It terrified him that she vanished out of nowhere, given the fact that she also followed him 100 meters plus in a few seconds. He just froze and stood there in shock for a whole minute after what just happened. He goes through the gate, turns his head one last time, and there she is, 20 feet away from the gate, staring through his soul with a smile. He was able to tell that she was smiling from the lifted eyelids from the rear ends. As he froze in his spot, staring at this thing, it removes its veil slowly, and the boy sees not a man, not a woman, but a beast-like face, staring at Asim through the gate. After this incident, Asim never walked to school alone for weeks. Until this very day, Asim being in his 30s right now, not knowing what the hell that thing was, and why were the roads completely empty during the time span of this incident.
That's somebody playing a joke on that little kid, boy. Somebody put a mask over a mask and then just started to scare the shit out of a kid. I mean, duh.
Did she beg you to stop? Did you hear her lungs gargling with blood? Or did you see it in her face when she realized she could no longer breathe due to her collapsed lungs? What were her last words? Did you stay to watch her die? Or did you leave her there in agonizing pain as you ran away?
Now a lot of people have been tagging me in this video, so I'm here to explain the backstory to this whole thing. The girl you see here is named Tristy Bailey, who on Mother's Day was found brutally stabbed and slashed to death. Now Tristy was one of 5 children of Stacy and Forrest Bailey. She lived in Florida and attended Patriot Oaks Academy, where she was a cheerleader. On May 9th, 2021, Tristan's parents reported her missing after her mother came back home and didn't find her in her room. The neighborhood came together to try and find Tristan, but failed. That's when the police got involved, where they found Tristan's body stabbed 114 times. A nearby neighbor's CCTV camera captured Tristan walking alongside with what appeared to be Aiden Fucci, who at the time was 14 years old. But then 2 hours later, Aiden can be seen running back home alone. Police quickly took Aiden Fucci in for questioning, where Aiden took a Snapchat picture and a video in the back of a cop car. It was obvious that Aiden wasn't taking the situation seriously.
Having fun in a cop car. Yep. Tristan, what's up, guys? Yep. Tristan, if you can walk out the damn.
When you see this in a month,
this in a cop car, guys. Tripping, dude.
Until investigators saw the snap, as well as a response saying, "You were with her, Aiden. You know what happened to her." Investigators also noticed Aiden switching up his story every time he was questioned about the night. After constant interrogation, Aiden finally confessed to being with Bailey that night, and that they were both heading to a friend's house. On their way back, however, Aiden says that they both got into an argument, and he pushed Bailey, and Bailey struck her head on a rock on the way down. But investigators found a pocket knife with the tip missing, the same weapon that was used to stab Bailey 114 times. This weapon also belonged to Aiden. They also investigated Aiden's home, where they found blood-stained clothes and blood-stained shoes. It was concluded that Aiden lowered Bailey out of her house, as they were neighbors, then brought her to a secluded area where he stabbed her 114 times, all over her body. Nobody knows why Aiden killed Tristan. It's being stated that Aiden had no motive to kill Bailey, as his peers say that he always fantasized about killing somebody. Aiden was arrested for first-degree murder and charged with the death of Tristan Bailey, and he was tried on February of 2023, where he pleaded guilty, and on March 24th, 2023, he was sentenced to 40 years to life in prison at the age of just 16 years old. Like and follow for more.
Man, so young. I mean, I'm glad they got the psychopath out of here that fast. I mean, it just shows how young people can be for the devil or evil to take over them and make them do something stupid. Now, a 16-year-old is locked up for the rest of his life, and a little girl's dead.
I am not sorry for something I didn't do, and I am not sorry for the things I did do.
Mr. O'Neill,
All right.
Listen, stop.
All right.
Listen to me.
I'm not
You're not going to raise your voice again.
I'm not going to raise my voice again. I'm not.
I will have you removed from this courtroom. I can sentence you without you being present.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't conduct
I
yourself.
understand, Your Honor.
Thank you.
But I will say, I'm sorry for your loss.
19 years I've been at this job. I've seen human beings killed at the hands of others in every way imaginable. You name it, I've seen it. Shootings, stabbings, drownings, suffocatings, blown apart by cars in DUI manslaughter cases. Horrible things. This is the worst case I have ever seen as far as the facts go. When the person from fire department, when he testified, and when he said that he retrieved the body of Ronivia O'Neill from the home, and all he could do was sob. It took every ounce I had not to start sobbing too. Because there is no way any person with any feeling could have witnessed or seen the photos of what occurred that night and not be haunted for the rest of your life. I know I will be. For the rest of my life, I'll be haunted by what I saw as far as the evidence and just the abject cruelty of it all. The abject cruelty. And I was aware, because I reviewed a lot of the discovery ahead of time, as you well know, did a lot of in-camera inspection of a lot of documents. And I was aware there was some evidence, at least, that when you needed to recover from your gunshot wound, that neither your parents nor your Aisha, Ms. Robinson, would let you come recover at their home. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not going to get into a dispute. I'm just mentioning there was some evidence referencing that in the records. And all I can think about, because I knew that Miss Barron was not with you romantically at the time. And I knew that she just, out of the goodness of her heart, let you come stay with her. And it is beyond tragic that that critical decision ended in so much horror for her and for her children. It is unspeakably cruel what happened as a result of that one decision. The way that Ms. Barron died that 911 call, which captured truly all of it. You heard, and everyone who's heard that 911 call heard a death scream. If anybody ever wants to know what it sounds like before a human being dies, knowing that their death is imminent, that's exactly what it is. That was a death scream.
We're going to see if it's true.
But what happened to little Ranivia and to little Ronnie, but I'm going to focus on Ranivia because she was special. And you can tell Miss Barron had done everything she could to create a beautiful home for her family. I noticed that the Ranivia's bedroom, before you set it on fire, you could tell she tried so hard to make her feel like a princess. Kenyatta did everything she could. And I noticed too in the kitchen, on the refrigerator, she put up magnets that said faith, love, family, hope. And then you know what else happened at the refrigerator during that night? It got splattered with blood all over it due to what happened. Little Ranivia, she couldn't scream, she couldn't run away, and she witnessed what you did to her mother as far as shooting her mother in the arm with a gunshot. She knew. And the horror that that child suffered. And she already had a life where she was born with challenges regarding her physical and her mental disabilities. But the pain and suffering that she suffered that night at your hands, unspeakable, absolutely unspeakable. And at the moment, that first time you struck her with that hatchet, and little Ronnie testified that all he could see was tears coming out of his sister's face. At that moment, that child knew. She knew she was being betrayed in the cruelest, most tragic and sorrowful way that a child could ever be betrayed. She was being betrayed by her parent, the one person that should be there to protect their children and love them and keep them from harm. And that was the last thing that child felt before she passed on from this earth, was your utter, cruel betrayal to her.
I hope that dude rots. He killed his own little girl with a hatchet. Man, I love all my daughters. And that dude, I hope somebody gets his ass every day. I mean, I hope they tear his asshole up. I hope he has stitches every freaking once a week put on his butthole.
Is this your chin, Mama? Do this and put it on your chin. Oh.
This is Samantha Sacharvi and her daughter, Vianne Mangrio. Sadly, they are no longer here with us today. They lived in Burnley, UK. They had a beautiful, loving mother and daughter relationship. Vianne's father living in Pakistan. Vianne was only 14, but both her parents were very proud of her because she already had plans to go to Cambridge and study law. Samantha had hired a man named Shabazz Khan to do some handiwork around the house, but he did more than just handiwork on the day of October 1st, 2020.
They look sketchy.
The bodies of Saman and Vianne were found. When police decided to go to their house for a welfare check, police launched an investigation and found that the handyman on CCTV was there that day. 52-year-old Shabazz Khan was then arrested. He had laced Saman's rose wine with diazepam before ultimately strangling her. A little while after that, at 3:25 p.m., Vianne was coming home from school, and when she arrived into the house, Khan drugged her and ended her life too. To throw him off as the suspect, Khan tried to make it look like the bodies were set on fire by the tea kettle, but had trouble doing so. So instead, he started to write on the wall, COVID-19 and my mom is evil, to make it look like the two mother and daughter didn't like each other and had a falling out. Luckily for autopsy, it showed that that wasn't the case, and that Saman passed away from pressure on her neck while her daughter's body was so badly burnt that they could only say that she died of asphyxiation. In Khan's loft, they found jewelry worth 27,000 pounds that belonged to Saman. Khan was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 34 years, while his wife, who also tried to lie about his whereabouts to the cops, was jailed for 30 months. Always be careful on who you allow in your home.
Facts.
Is this guy a hero, or is he a terrible monster? This guy's name is Steve Sanderson. He's a guy who's currently serving a life in prison sentence for the 1991 murder of his girlfriend. And in 2015, he just happened to get a new cellmate, a man named Theodore Dyer. Now, this guy was sentenced to prison because he did unspeakable things with a 9-year-old girl. And he was trying to hide that fact from the other prisoners. But being his new cellmate, Steven found out right away what Theodore Dyer was in prison for. And while they were alone in their cell together, this guy was trying to explain his situation, saying he was framed. Steven told him to be quiet, and the next day he would have to find a new cell. Well, the guy kept talking, and Steven had just about enough. So Steven punched him in the face a few times, took off his shoelaces, and then strangled him and ended his life. The court gave him one more life sentence, but it wouldn't have mattered because he already had a life sentence. While in court, Steven said about Theodore Dyer, "I didn't judge him. The only judge is God. I just set up the appointment."
Facts. These facts. That was so much facts. So I didn't judge him. God did. I just set up the appointment. That's fucking awesome. The hell?
Oh, I've missed you, Mr. Thompson.
If you ain't ever seen that movie, don't.
How I've missed our merry times together on Ponder Rock.
You will not believe who the killer was in this child murder case. It was August in 1993 in New York when 4-year-old Derek Roby was making his way to summer camp. He only lived 1 block away, and his mum claims that this was the first time she'd ever let him walk anywhere on his own. Tragically, that afternoon, Derek's remains were found. He was discovered in the nearby woods about halfway between his house and his intended destination. He'd been lured from the pavement, strangled and beaten with rocks. Disturbingly, he'd been SA'd with a stick. It's also worth noting that when he was found, he had Kool-Aid poured all over his body. Bizarrely, 4 days later, 13-year-old Eric Smith offered to help police with the case. When police questioned him, he initially claimed to not have seen Derek that day, but he then did keep changing his story. Now, when Eric's dad attended the police station to see what was going on, he offered Eric some Kool-Aid. Eric reacted very bizarrely to this and threw the Kool-Aid on the floor. At this point, police were very suspicious of Eric, and they also found out from neighbours that he'd been asking very strange questions. These were questions all about DNA evidence and also what would happen if they found that a child had killed Derek. Shortly after, Eric did confess to the killing. He claimed that it was because of his anger about being bullied by other kids. At the age of 13, he was convicted of second-degree murder. This is a more recent picture of Eric, and he was actually released from prison in February of this year.
Craziest crimes of all time.
Wow. That's crazy. Kids killing kids, man. Evil can get you young now. That God's children ain't safe no more. But man, these were true crime stories. I hope y'all enjoyed them, man. If y'all did, hit that like, hit that sub, man. It means a lot, and it takes my channel a long ways, man. I'll try to do more of these, man, if y'all would. See y'all later.